Dancing with the College. With Sports 4's Scott Eisberg and Darren Stoltzfus. Sponsored by Palmetto Exterminators.
There may not be a more pristine, temperate, and beautiful place in the country to dance. 2,438 miles from Charleston, the Palmetto State's two NCAA tournament teams both come to play in the same place. And what a place it is. Good evening from San Diego, California. How gorgeous it is. I'm Scott Eisberg. We look forward to the next half hour talking basketball with you. And we have waited quite a while to talk NCAA tournament basketball with the College of Charleston. Darren Stoltzfus, we have waited 19 years for this, but boy, is it an exciting time down on George Street.
Absolutely. And it was exciting just their trip to get to San Diego. Not talking about the actual journey. How about this season? It was something special, a ride, a vision, all coming to fruition 4 years into the tenure of Earl Grant at the College of Charleston.
To see how the Cougars won their way to San Diego this season, all you have to do is take a look back 1 year ago. That loss in the CAA title game, another in the NIT, fueling this team. From the highs of an overtime home opening win to a large loss out in the Sunflower State. Their next two losses in Alaska, then Rhode Island. Good thing the committee didn't send this team somewhere cold.
Brantley for the win. We're going to overtime, folks.
In conference play, slight hiccups in Philadelphia, Baltimore. Goes to Drexel and Towson.
6 seconds left. Mike slams it home.
But 14 conference wins in all. Good enough for their first CAA regular season title. Count 3 more wins in the North Charleston Coliseum, and they'd hoist the tournament trophy. Secure an invitation to the big dance for the first time since 1999. The Charleston, back in vogue, dancing like they danced before.
That's all I'm thinking about, going back to Charlotte on Friday and seeing what we can do in the first round. It can't be any better.
Earl Grant's group going from 9 wins in year 1 to more than 50 in the past 2 seasons combined. That's not something many mid-major programs can lay claim to. But the goal, this season not over just yet. Keep winning, survive, and advance. Let the confetti fall again. Because for the first time in a while, the college has hope. A chance Cinderella's slipper may fit a Cougar paw this time around.
And the Cougars say they are not just in this thing to play. They're in it to open some more eyes. They know it won't be easy. The College of Charleston battle-tested this season, but they haven't beaten a high major team. They feel this sets up well for them, though. They are hot. They've won 14 of their last 15 games. They are well-rested, and Earl Grant says he knows Auburn well. He saw their games here in Charleston at the Gildan Classic. He recruited several of their players, and it's certainly not uncommon for a 13 seed to pull off the upset and knock off a 4. The Cougars well-informed as they size up those Auburn Tigers.
Good team, good guard play. Kind of undersized. It's something they can play 4 guards, kind of like we do. It'll be a good test for us. I'm sure a lot of people picked us to lose throughout the season as well. So just try to focus on us. We trust our coaches. We trust each other. And we like our chances.
They won the regular season championship. They got really good guards. They play small ball. They thrive in transition. They want to turn you over so they can, go get some easy baskets. I played against a Bruce Pearl team before when I was at Winthrop in Greensboro Coliseum. They beat us at the buzzer. Guy made a shot falling out of bounds. So actually, a lot of the stuff that we did in preparation for that game is the things that I'm joggling through my mind. I think it's the same type of prep.
So the college, certainly a dream season, a turnaround year, but the eye-opening season, well, might belong to the Auburn Tigers. Bruce Pearl's turned this program from a cellar dweller in the SEC to SEC champs. 25 wins against 7 losses, and much like the College of Charleston, outstanding at home. And also much like the college, starved for postseason success. The Tigers, they haven't danced down on the plains since 2003.
I told the players that people think you play for the national championship if you play in the last game, and I don't. You play for the national championship when you're in this tournament, and you have to win 6 games to win it. And to be in the top 4 seeds in this bracket is a tremendous statement for the regular season champions.
Just knowing that we're 0-0 and everybody else is 0-0. We didn't end the SEC tournament how we wanted to, so just going into the NCAA tournament, we know we have to correct some things that we want to be able to help us to be able to advance.
It means a lot just because I've seen I've seen the lows, I've seen the highs, so just knowing where the program has came from, it's amazing. I'm proud of the coaches, I'm proud of my teammates. I feel like we've came a long way.
So, Scotty, both of these teams making history this year, but when you talk College of Charleston history, there's only one man that stands out for the Cougars, right?
No question about it, Darren. For years, the college played at John Kress Arena. Now they play on John Kress Court at the TD Arena. There's only 2 men that have ever led the college to the Division I NCAA tournament, Earl Grant and, of course, the one and only John Kress. In one way or another, it's a phrase that John Kress has been spouting on TV for 24 years now.
But we're doing the Charleston at the big dance.
And we're part of March Madness, the road to the Final Four. We're real excited. We're called giant killers down here in Charleston, so anything can happen.
The feeling never gets old. The memory's quick to flood back to the sharp-witted New Yorker turned Charleston legend. He'll always be coaching this town, whether he's on the sideline or not.
In 1994, Scott, we got in that large bid. I didn't think we were going to get in that large bid. So I said, players, I don't want my players there. I don't want them to be a pity party. And we got, the name was up there. We were going to play Wake Forest and Tim Duncan. And we went to the Rupp Arena. We didn't win it, but we were there. And that started it. Then 97, 98, 99, more trips, great memories. There's nothing like playing in the big dance, the NCAA tournament. It's a dream come true.
He'll be in San Diego with his wife, Sue. How perfect. Reunited at the dance with his most notable pupil, Greg Marshall in Wichita, and his up-and-coming one. Kress says, no question, though, he'll be wearing maroon in Cali.
I let him alone this week. I bug him too much sometimes. Earl, how about this? How about that? But he's a great young coach. We have a really nice relationship. Really, really proud of Earl and what he's accomplished. We built a program step by step, brick by brick, and it's really happened. And he's got great players, and we're going to continue to be good. Not only this year, we're going to win a couple more games. It's not over yet, but we're going to be really good in the future, Scott.
Part of so much Cougar history. Proud to witness some more. As we head to break tonight, we've got much more after the break, but let's give you a couple facts and figures that are pretty interesting dealing with this College of Charleston team. This is not the first time that the College of Charleston and Clemson are on a collision course for each other. It was the same scenario in 1998. The college, however, lost in the first round to Final Four participant Stanford. Clemson fell to Western Michigan. Those two teams sure hope it happens this year. Welcome back to San Diego, California. I'm Scott Eisberg, and we are dancing with the Cougars. There's one man really responsible for this Cougars emergence in basketball. 4 years ago, the program wasn't in a great place. The Doug Wojcik scandal had taken over. They were down. The college brought in Earl Grant. He wasn't their first choice. It was actually fellow Stall High grad Anthony Johnson. But boy, is the college lucky they ended up with Earl Grant, the young assistant from Clemson coming home, and 4 years later, he has turned around this school. While much of the College of Charleston's success credited to one man, it takes a team to make a man. And that core team, not as players.
Well, my wife, obviously, I got 3 sons, 11, 9, and 6, so my wife, she's my MVP. She does a lot. She's constantly on the move with the boys, trying to take care of them, and also just constantly taking care of me.
Wife certainly important, but never, ever forget Mom.
Well, my mom, that's, she's been my rock. Growing up in North Charleston, she was very instrumental in keeping us in church, trying to do a good job of making sure education was of highest priority. And it's a tough neighborhood where there's a lot going on, a lot of distractions. So I think her just praying over us and keeping us involved in the church, was a huge part of my development and growth. And it kept me out of some situations that maybe some kids in the inner city get caught up in.
How would you consider your upbringing? Did you have everything you needed, or was it like, were you fighting for food and stuff like that? How tough was the upbringing?
I think people in the neighborhood was fighting for food. I was fortunate because I had mom and dad. So I had my mom. She was a high school English teacher for 30 years at Baptist Hill High School. She would commute 45 minutes there and 45 minutes back to get to North Charleston. But she did that for 30 years. So she had a good job. And then my dad was self-employed. He kind of had a landscaping business. And so both parents at home, both of them working hard. We never really needed for anything. So maybe we didn't have much, but it seemed like we had plenty.
His dad, gone for 5 years now, but Earl says his blue-collar work ethic, his team's blue-collar work ethic, comes from the elder Grant.
Knocking on doors and asking people if they want their yard mowed and, cutting grass and selling. Somebody have 25 postal couriers that they don't need who had a paper route. You say, hey, can I get those 25? I'm going to go sit at this gas station and sell these for Sunday papers, 75 cents a piece. So just learning how to hustle and work and understanding that, nobody's going to give you anything.
From a quiet kid growing up in the Liberty Hill area to this, really a full circle journey. An amazing journey if you think about it. This isn't the pinnacle. He says that, reaching the Final Four with his team. But it's a pretty good start.
I think of that team that didn't make the NCAA tournament in '96, Anthony Johnson's team who beat Maryland. If I didn't see that in the cafeteria at Stall on the big screen, when they shut school down for it, maybe I wouldn't have felt the way I feel about getting into coaching and college athletics. Or if I didn't come down here as a sophomore in high school with a book of greenback stamps from Piggly Wiggly, because that's you can get in the game at the College of Charleston and you can get to the football at Citadel games. So I go to Citadel football and College of Charleston basketball with the greenback stamp. So, maybe if I didn't see that growing up, maybe I wouldn't have that bug to want to coach.
It's funny how things work out. Of course, as you can see there, Earl's so proud of his family, his mom Marlene and his wife Jackie. They are equally proud of him.
Can't say enough about being proud to be from this great city, growing up here, watching College of Charleston and graduating from here, and also, him coming back and being able to do this and turn this program around. I'm just so blessed and amazed at everything.
Final question, what kind of dad is he? Is he coach dad or is he goofy, fun dad? Is he a different guy at home than he is on the sideline?
He is an amazing father. He's the laid-back dad, until you get on his nerves. But for the most part, he's just an amazing person, an amazing dad, and the boys just love him so much.
Earl grew up as a very quiet boy. So I used to think, how can he be assertive out there? But he's proven himself to be extremely assertive, positive, motivated. I'm proud of it.
What kind of kid was he growing up?
Basically a quiet kid. He loved to fish. I would take him and let him fish all day and go back and pick him up. He loved his community. He loved being with his friends, but he was always a good child.
So, Darren, the College of Charleston is not the only team we're covering out here in Southern California. You're heading out here tomorrow to help cover the other Palmetto State teams.
Absolutely.
Team and connections, I should say.
Well, there you go. We're talking Clemson and Wichita State, because not only does Earl Grant have so deep ties to those regions, for the region of the San Diego tournament right there, it is pretty remarkable. If you ask Earl Grant, no question, two of his biggest basketball mentors, the two men he coached under for the better part of a decade. Wichita State's Greg Marshall, Clemson head coach Brad Brownell. Both will take teams to this regional in San Diego. Earl coached under Greg Marshall at Winthrop, winning a game in the dance, following him then to Wichita State. But the call of home was strong, so he came back to Clemson, back to South Carolina to join Brad Brownell's new staff in Tigertown for 3 seasons. Then 4 years ago, for the first time, Earl a head coach here in his hometown, as he grew into that position with help from so many, but namely from those two men. As Earl leans on his two mentors, they certainly have their eye on their pupil, the rising star, one of the hottest young head coaches in college basketball.
We all still follow their scores unbelievably close and root for those guys a lot. and know just about everything that's going on with their games and what's going on, and I think they do the same with us. So to watch him be successful, I'm really happy for him to go back to his hometown and to lead his hometown team back to the NCAA tournament. Yeah, it's got to be so good for him, and because he did it in a way when he took over that was in a difficult spot, you know, just really happy for him and proud of him, and we're looking forward to seeing each other out there.
He knows the game. I mean, he's passionate about the game. He's a tremendous person, great husband, father, leader. He's a healer. And at the time when College of Charleston was making their hire, Coach Kress and I talked about this a few times, I thought Earl Grant had all the combinations and the ingredients to be a success, but more importantly, he was a healer because they had gone through a tough period. And Earl Grant's the type of guy, if you don't like Earl Grant, then something's wrong with you.
Strong words. Brad Brownell talk about a hot seat to start the season. The top Tiger fighting for his job this year, but boy, to get the job done. And in the face of adversity, too, the Tigers 23-9, won a game in Brooklyn, reached the ACC semifinals before falling to Virginia, who the Hoos ended up being the overall #1 seed in the tournament. Add on, Clemson did it for half a season without their star player Dante Grantham after his injury. The Tigers now have an at-large bid to the Big Dance for the first time since Brad Brownell's first year in Tiger Town in 2011. Their task now, beat New Mexico State and reach that second round for the first time in 21 years.
We can be as successful as we want to be. We're good enough, and but we have to play really good basketball because all the teams we're going to play right now are here for a reason. They're good, they play well, they're competitive, and we're the same. So, you know, let's have a good week of practice, and then let's get ready to go do it.
As we head to break, a little Clemson factoid for you. 12th ever tournament appearance. They've all come since 1980. And how about this? Clemson finished in a tie for third in the ACC standings. They were picked to finish 13th in the preseason media poll. 10-place improvements from that poll. It's the biggest jump in ACC history. Back out to Scott Eisberg in San Diego in 3 minutes.
That's Charleston, put on your dancing shoes. We're going to party like it's 1999. We're going to do the Charleston. Charleston, we're going to the big dance.
And to us, it will simply be known as The Call. Our good buddy Everett German on ESPN Radio. He doesn't do this job for money, but for the College of Charleston passion, and it shined right through right there. Well, welcome back to San Diego, California. One guy certainly proud to be here is Everett German. For years, you heard him on the Bobby Harton radio show. He worked his way up from the color analyst for the College of Charleston to the head play-by-play man, the voice of the Cougars. How special for him, because he is a College of Charleston alum, and he got to voice that call.
That's one that I've kind of practiced in my head over and over again if we ever got to that point. And finally, after 19 years, I got a chance to use it.
How special was it because it's your alma mater?
It really is. You don't want a situation, Scott, where we've seen the dark side, and now you come to this point to where you're actually on top. And so I know it's been a long struggle and a long fight for this program, but to finally be there, Scott, just a lot of excitement today.
Everett is recognizable, but if you truly want a recognizable face at the College of Charleston, look no further than one of the friendliest faces at the college, Bishop England grad Sam Hazeltine. We first featured Sam 11 years ago, his Special Olympic sailing days. We always knew he'd be special, and he sure is. The beloved manager of this team, with them every step, already getting to cut down 2 nets this season.
It feels really great. It's a little bit emotional for me. I'm very proud of this team. They're doing a great year, and I'm very proud of them. I can't believe we won the CAA tournament. You know, we're going to the big dance. Cannot believe it. And best wishes to Coach Grant and the team. Can't wait. And let's get the W. Let's get the W.
They want to get the W. The alums, they're just as proud as Sam is, Darren. They certainly want to get the W as well.
Absolutely, Scotty. No question the connection from the alumni to this program. You just have to take a look at the alumni game every February. Nearly every notable star from the Cougars past still actively involved with this team. Of those alumni, though, few as involved as Danny Johnson, the star of that last College of Charleston team that made the dance in '99. He still lives in town. He was alongside Everett German on that magical call a little more than a week ago.
Oh, big time. It rushed to me when I realized it was over. When I was watching the game, I was like, I lost my professionalism on the radio. That's it. That's it. So it all came back, and it still feels like that today. Just the excitement of just knowing and figuring out what your matchup is and where you're going. They've been dealing with injuries and all kind of setbacks, but they've reached to the bench. Those guys have stepped up. Just unsung hero after the other. I mean, you just couldn't ask any more of anybody on this roster.
As we edge closer to the end of our program, less than 48 hours from tip-off for the college, let's listen one last time to those close friends, those two head coaches from the Palmetto State teams preparing to go dancing Friday night in San Diego.
I don't know really what to tell you. It feels the same to me. I mean, we got a game coming up on Friday, and we've been working so hard in terms of preparing for practice. We hadn't had a chance to really reflect yet, so I think that'll happen in the spring. Right now it's just still business as usual. You know, practice hard, come up with a game plan, meet with the staff, you know, trying to make sure everybody's situated.
I think the thing that sticks out the most is that they're used to winning. Their guys are used to winning. They won last year, won 28 this year. You can see when you watch them play that they're a very confident group, and they've knocked off a bunch of high majors already, so they have reason to believe they're good, and they're certainly capable of making a run just like we are.
Should be an entertaining tournament. Thanks for joining us. Dancing with the Cougars for Palmetto Exterminators. For Scott Eisberg out in California and our hardworking crew behind the scenes, have a great night.